Hi guys, it's me, Terri of the Yarnjoy podcast. Welcome to the 13th episode of WIP Wall Wednesday. So WIP Wall Wednesday is a series that I've been doing every other week to inspire or challenge myself to get finished with some of my projects that have been what I've referred to as sleeping for quite a long time and get them off of my WIP wall. My WIP wall is a pegboard wall that I have on the other side of the room here. Just like the pegboard here, where I'm hanging project bags that have my works in progress. Some of them are my more current works in progress, but I had some in the back there that had been hanging there for a long time, and so I was wanting to get them finished and get them off my wall. And so I decided to start this series so that way you can hold me accountable to getting them finished, and I am also hoping to inspire others to finish some of their works in progress that have been sitting for a long time as well. Okay, so the last couple of weeks I've been working on a granny square blanket. It's one that I actually started when I filmed my very first tutorial, which was my favorite join as you go method of joining granny squares together, and I can link that video below in the description box. Okay, so that's how this got started, and I think I also made another tutorial on just how to do a basic granny square, and I made one of the granny squares for this blanket. So this has been sleeping for, well, ever since I started my YouTube video, really, so basically, so right, almost 3 years, I guess. And so I pulled it out, started working on it again. I think last time I showed you that when I started, okay, it had 2 rows of 6 squares across, 2 rows complete, and then I think 1 square attached to the 3rd row, and that was it. Okay, so the last WIP Wall Wednesday I showed you, I had and then I also had some squares that were just kind of halfway done, you know, like I had some that, because I'm doing 4-row granny squares, or 4 round. And so some of them had 2 rounds and that was it. Some of the granny squares had 3 rounds, you know, and then I had some that were actually complete. And so last WIP Wall Wednesday I showed you where I had taken those half-finished squares and I finished them, just the ones that I had started. And so for this WIP Wall Wednesday, my aim was to get those squares connected to this blanket. So I was able to do that. So let me show you my progress. Okay, so like I said, that it was 6 squares across, and I was thinking I wanted to make it a little bit wider. And so I went ahead and added 1 more square across, and so now there are 7 squares across. I did have 2 rows complete and then 1 row started, and so I finished that 3rd row, and then I finished a 4th row attaching, and as you can see, the 5th row has 3 squares on it. So that's what I've done. So far this is measuring 34 inches across, and of course with this last 3 squares down there, it measures, I think, 24 going down. So, but the 34 squares across, 34 inches across, which is the 7 squares, is a nice width for just a basic lap blanket or lapgan or wheelchair blanket, wheelchair lapgan. I'm going to stay with that, I think, the 7 squares across for a while, and just start, you know, working on the length of it. And if I want to go back and make it 1 more square wider, which I may do, I may not, I don't know. It depends on what it's looking like. I can always do that later. So anyway, that is my progress on it. So I'm very happy with that. I do have one tip though. When I had finished my squares, the ones that I was in progress squares to complete, I did not weave in my ends until I attached them onto here. And so since each round is a different color, I had all these ends on the backs of my squares that I had to weave in after I joined them onto the blanket. And so I don't want to do that. I want to make myself weave in the ends when I'm finished with that square, because it just, to me, makes more work as far as having to join it and then weave in the ends. But I definitely didn't want to save it to the end of the project. But as you can see, I've got all the ends woven in, all caught up, so that's good. So from now on, I am going to weave in my tails when I get my squares done, so that way when they are ready to attach to the blanket, I just have the tails from where I'm attaching it to weave in, you know, where I start and where I stop. So I think that'll be better. Okay, so now what I'm going to do, now that I've gotten caught up with attaching the squares that I was in progress squares, now it's time to make some more squares. So I have 2 jars of little balls of yarn that I'm going to be concentrating on to use the round, especially the first and second round, because doesn't take much yarn. I also have, so besides these 2 containers of balls, I also have this bin right here that also has, whoop, I'm gonna have an avalanche here, but also has yarn balls, and you can say it's a pretty good size container. By the way, I got these containers. I got 2 of them at Five Below, which is kind of like a Dollar Tree, but Five Below is everything is $5 or under. Okay. Here in the States. And so I got these. I loved that the color was purple. You can't see, but the wall that is opposite the camera, I mean behind the camera there, is painted purple in my room here. Plus, it has an S on there, which is the initial for my last name. So I thought, oh, these, and I got 2 of them. So these containers were meant to come home with me. And I love them. I have, like I said, I have my yarn balls in this one, and then the other one is down there on the floor, and it has the crochet thread in those. So that one's full of these things. So anyway, that's what I'm going to be working on, is making some more squares with these and that container of yarn also. Be working on, taken from there. And so let's see. I think that's really it. I'll give you a sneak peek, sneak peek, but you're not seeing it. It's a sneak advanced notice. I don't know. Anyway, one of my works in progress, Sleeping WIPs, was a Gingerbread Boy that I had started. It is a pattern by Mary Smith, I think. I will pop in a picture here of a completed Gingerbread Boy that I made a couple of years ago, I think. Not last Christmas, but the one before that, I think. So, but here is the finished project. So that year I made 2 of those. It is a paid for pattern, but totally worth it, I think. And I had started a 3rd one, but I just ran out of time and I wasn't able to get that one done. But I still had some of his parts that were already completed. I can't remember. I think I've got 2 feet and maybe a leg, and I think that's it. But it is also over there on my WIP wall as a sleeping WIP. And so when I get finished with this, I'm going to go into that bag and start working on that project, because one of the ladies, a friend of mine, that had purchased that Gingerbread Boy, ordered it, either that or I made it and she wanted it after I made it. I can't remember. But anyway, she asked me if I could make one, but a girl version. And so I'm going to take what I've started and I'm going to attempt to come up with a variation of that to be a girl, a gingerbread girl. But I'm going to use that pattern because that way it'll be the same size as the other one. And so that will be coming up, and so that one will be exciting, I think, even more so than showing you I've just made squares and attached some more. But I'm very happy that I'm getting this done. Oh, and I'll show you, let's see, right here in my bag. This is the yarn that I was using to join the squares, and as you can see, it has gotten to be a big mess. And so I'm going to take the time to wind all this up into a big ball because I'm tired of yanking on the yarn and then having to take a knot out of it to get myself some more yarn. So I need to go ahead and wind this up and before I join more squares. But like I said, my main focus this time is going to be making some more squares. Okay. I think that is it. So guys, thanks for watching. Thanks for keeping me accountable to get these projects worked on. I hope that you are working on some sleeping WIPs as well. Pop over to our Facebook group and let me know, or comment below, let me know that if you're getting some works in progress projects that you had put away, that you're getting some done. And also pop over to our Facebook group, Yarnjoy Podcast, and you can post pictures of the sleeping WIPs that you've resurrected and are finishing. So I think that's it, guys. So have a great rest of your day, and we will see you back here tomorrow for Yarnjoy Podcast episode 163, I think. So come back and watch that, okay? Okay, so talk to y'all later, guys. See you in the next video. Bye.